My sister has been cuddling with my husband, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. What should I do? My 23F, husband, 24M, have had custody of my younger siblings, 17F and 18F, for 2 years now. The oldest one moved out a couple months ago to be with her long-term boyfriend. I was prefaced that my husband and I have been together since the youngest one was 13 and have always gotten along. However, it has never been like this. She never even used to sit next to him. The reason we have custody of her was because of ongoing sexual abuse from her father that I also experienced. So she isn't really good around men. Last week we took her to Kalahari Resort for her birthday for a 3-day trip. During that 3-day trip she had a mental breakdown because I'm 15 weeks pregnant and she's afraid with the new baby along with her turning 18 next July we are just going to abandon her. She thinks this because she feels like she is a burden on us and she feels that since our legal obligation ends at 18 we won't care about her anymore, which isn't true at all. During this breakdown my husband hugged her because she was crying and obviously upset. Fast forward to 2 days later. We are now home and I notice she's been purposely pushing me away from my husband on the couch, getting under the same blanket as him, laying her head on his shoulder, and cuddling him, which is weird for her especially since she has such a tough time around men. I asked my husband about it later and he said she sees him like a father figure and it makes her feel comfortable. I tell him I'm okay with that. However, I do have to admit it makes me feel a little weird, but that's only because of the things that happened to me as a child. But I'm not going to project my insecurities onto a child like that. This has consistently been going on every day since we got back, and I'll admit it has gotten annoying to be constantly told by her to scoot over. Anyway, it all came to a head last night when I came downstairs to get a drink and see her with her arms wrapped around him laying on top of his chest while they were laying on the couch. His arms weren't around her, but she kept nuzzling her face into his chest. I don't know why, but it made me feel super uncomfortable to the point I was shaking and I went upstairs. Immediately my husband knew something was wrong and told me we could talk about it. We had a talk. He reassured me nothing was going on. I told him we need to tell her this cuddling stuff has to stop. It's making me super uncomfortable. He said we shouldn't say anything to her because it would hurt her feelings and that she only does it in crisis mode. But it's literally every day now. He then told me she has laid on his chest like that before, but when I came home she jumped up. He said he would make it to where she won't cuddle like that with him anymore, but I honestly think we should have a talk about boundaries with her. I don't know if I'm the asshole because I could be reading into this too much due to the sexual abuse I faced, but at the same time I don't want to feel uncomfortable in my own home. I do think she doesn't know what boundaries are and that a talk could help, but I also don't want to upset her. Update: I talked to my husband about this before she got home from work. He brought up that it also made it uncomfortable but wasn't sure how to handle it as it has only been going on for about 5 days since we got back, so we set firm boundaries. Thank you to everyone in the comments for validating my feelings and giving me good advice. When she couldn't lay by him on the couch, all I could clearly see it made her upset, especially when he pushed her away. I talked to her separately and explained why these boundaries are set and why it wasn't okay to be cuddling him like that. She did break down and told me it truly wasn't anything sexual, she just needed love. That's when she told me she was worried I hadn't been as affectionate towards her lately, but I explained it's because I'm in a lot of pain. Pregnancy really messes with scoliosis. We had a great talk and I think we can finally move past this. As for therapy, I'm signing everyone up Monday morning and adding a sexual abuse therapist in for her.